The art of gardening transforms even the smallest outdoor spaces into enchanting retreats that reflect our personalities and bring nature closer to home. In today's world of increasingly compact living arrangements, small space gardening has evolved from a necessity into a creative endeavor, proving that limited square footage need not limit imagination or impact. From vertical gardens climbing walls to clever container combinations on balconies, the possibilities for creating beautiful gardens in modest spaces are virtually endless.
Welcome to Cozy Living. Here, we talk all things about home design, outdoor design, and creating beautiful functional spaces. Let's dive in.
Beautiful garden designs you'll love. House with Gardens, small space gardening for every home. The psychological benefits of surrounding ourselves with greenery are well documented, with studies showing that even brief interactions with plants can reduce stress, improve mood, and enhance overall well-being. Small gardens offer these benefits while also serving practical purposes, providing fresh herbs and vegetables, creating privacy screens, cooling urban heat islands, and supporting local wildlife and pollinators. These pocket-sized paradises demonstrate that gardening is not about the quantity of space, but rather the quality of design. What makes small space gardening particularly exciting is its accessibility and adaptability. Whether you have a tiny balcony, a narrow side yard, a compact rooftop, or simply a sunny windowsill, there's a garden design approach that will work for your unique situation. In this comprehensive guide, we'll explore 12 beautiful garden designs specifically tailored for small spaces, complete with practical implementation tips and product recommendations to help you create your own perfect green sanctuary. 1. Vertical garden wonderlands, transforming walls into living tapestries. Vertical gardening is the art of growing upward when you can't grow outward. By utilizing walls, fences, and specially designed structures, vertical gardens transform unused vertical surfaces into living tapestries of foliage and flowers. These gardens are particularly effective in urban environments where horizontal space comes at a premium but vertical space remains abundant and underutilized. The visual impact of a well-designed vertical garden can be stunning, creating a focal point that draws the eye upward and makes the entire space feel larger and more dynamic. From a practical standpoint, vertical gardens offer numerous advantages beyond simply saving space. They can provide excellent insulation for buildings, reducing energy costs, create privacy screens between neighboring properties, buffer noise pollution in busy urban areas, and even help to purify the air by capturing pollutants. Plants in vertical systems often experience fewer pest problems and diseases compared to ground-level plantings, since better air circulation reduces humidity and limits the spread of fungal spores. Additionally, the elevated positioning of plants makes maintenance more ergonomic, reducing the need to bend and stoop. The plant selection for vertical gardens should consider the specific microclimate of your vertical space. Upper sections typically receive more sun and wind exposure and may dry out faster, making them ideal for drought-tolerant plants like sedums, small ornamental grasses, and certain herbs. Middle sections often provide balanced conditions suitable for flowering perennials, while lower sections that receive less light and retain more moisture work well for shade-loving ferns and hostas. Carefully planned vertical gardens can incorporate a succession of blooming plants, ensuring visual interest throughout the growing season. Two, container garden compositions, portable paradises for flexible urban living. Container gardening offers unparalleled flexibility for small space gardeners, allowing for seasonal changes, experimentation, and mobility that in-ground planting simply cannot match. The beauty of container gardening lies in its adaptability. Containers can be placed wherever conditions are optimal, moved when seasons change, and reconfigured when design preferences evolve. This approach is particularly suitable for renters, those with physical limitations, or gardeners contending with poor native soil conditions. The design potential of container gardens extends far beyond simple pots of flowers. Consider creating dynamic compositions by grouping containers of varying heights, shapes, and materials to create visual rhythm and interest. The thriller, filler, spiller approach, combining a tall focal plant with mid-level plants that fill space and trailing plants that cascade over edges, creates professionally designed looks in single containers. For cohesive multi-container displays, try limiting your color palette while varying textures, or conversely, maintain consistent plant forms while exploring complementary or contrasting colors. Container gardens also present unique opportunities for showcasing personal style through the containers themselves. Vintage finds like old toolboxes, galvanized tubs, or ceramic crocks can be repurposed as planters that add character while telling a story. In contemporary settings, clean-lined architectural containers in complementary materials like COR10 steel or polished concrete create sophistication and unity. Even small balconies can become immersive garden experiences when containers are strategically placed at multiple levels, utilizing railings, walls, and overhead structures to surround the space with greenery from all angles. Three, pocket Japanese gardens, miniature Zen escapes for urban tranquility. Pocket Japanese gardens capture the essence of traditional Japanese garden design: simplicity, asymmetry, and profound connection to nature, while adapting these principles to exceptionally small spaces. These miniaturized landscapes are studies in restraint, typically featuring carefully curated elements that represent larger natural features. A small rock formation suggesting mountains, raked gravel symbolizing water, and precisely placed plants creating a sense of distant forests. The result is a contemplative space that feels expansive despite its physical constraints, inviting quiet reflection and providing respite from the frenetic pace of modern life. The art of Japanese garden design relies heavily on the concept of borrowed scenery, shakiai, where distant views become incorporated into the garden composition. Even in small spaces, this principle can be applied by framing attractive views beyond your property or creating focal points that draw attention away from boundaries. Simple techniques like strategically placed mirrors, carefully positioned plants that direct the gaze, or viewing frames created by architectural elements can make small spaces feel connected to the broader landscape. Japanese gardens also excel at utilizing negative space, the intentional emptiness that allows the eye to rest and the mind to calm. Four, edible urban oasis, small space food gardens with maximum yield. Transforming limited space into a productive edible garden represents one of the most rewarding approaches to small space gardening, combining aesthetic appeal with practical benefits. Modern urban food gardens have evolved far beyond the utilitarian vegetable patches of the past, incorporating ornamental qualities through thoughtful design principles like companion planting, succession harvesting, and vertical integration. These edible oases demonstrate that growing food can be both beautiful and space-efficient, with carefully selected plants contributing color, texture, and form while providing fresh, healthy produce just steps from the kitchen. The key to successful small space food production lies in selecting high-yielding, compact varieties specifically bred for container growing or limited spaces. Determinate tomato varieties like Tiny Tim or Balcony Yellow produce full-sized fruits on plants reaching only 12 to 18 inches. Cut and come again lettuce varieties, perpetual spinach, and compact herbs deliver multiple harvests from the same footprint. Vertical crops like pole beans, cucumbers, and indeterminate tomatoes maximize production by growing upward on trellises, arches, or wall-mounted supports. Even fruit production becomes possible in small spaces through columnar apple trees, dwarf citrus varieties, or compact berry bushes like top hat blueberry. Five, miniature meadow gardens, pocket-sized pollinator havens for urban spaces. Miniature meadow gardens bring the romantic, naturalistic aesthetic of larger prairie and meadow landscapes into small urban and suburban spaces. These pocket-sized versions capture the ecological benefits and visual appeal of their larger counterparts, supporting pollinators, requiring minimal resources once established, and evolving beautifully through the seasons. Unlike traditional gardens that rely on static arrangements of individual specimen plants, meadow gardens celebrate communities of plants that interact and change over time, creating dynamic displays that reflect natural processes and seasonal rhythms. Creating successful miniature meadow gardens in small spaces requires thoughtful plant selection to maintain the meadow aesthetic without overwhelming limited areas. Focus on compact cultivars of traditional meadow plants. Shorter ornamental grasses like prairie dropseed, Sporobolus heterolepis, or blue grama grass, Bouteloua gracilis, provide the characteristic meadow structure at a manageable scale. Dwarf varieties of perennial flowers such as Echinacea, Pixie meadowbright, smaller Coreopsis cultivars, or compact varieties of Rudbeckia create the colorful blooms associated with meadow gardens without dominating small spaces. Including early dash, mid-dash, and late-season bloomers ensures visual interest throughout the growing season while providing continuous nectar sources for pollinators. 6. Tropical balcony retreats. Exotic vacation vibes in limited urban spaces. Tropical balcony gardens transport you to exotic locales through lush foliage, dramatic textures, and occasionally vibrant blooms, creating immersive escapes even in limited urban spaces. The distinctive aesthetic of tropical gardens, characterized by layered plantings, bold leaf forms, and a sense of abundance, can be particularly effective in small areas, where the enveloping nature of these gardens creates a private sanctuary removed from surroundings. Even in cooler climates where true tropical plants cannot survive year-round, the tropical look can be achieved through careful selection of cold-hardy plants with similar visual characteristics or by using tropical specimens as seasonal features. Creating the tropical effect in small spaces relies heavily on foliage rather than flowers, with special attention to leaf size, shape, texture, and color variation. Large-leaved plants like elephant ears, colocasia and alocasia varieties, false banana, and seat ventricosum, and certain hardy palms create the characteristic overhead canopy that defines tropical landscapes. Mid-level textural plants such as ferns, ornamental gingers, and strappy-leaved New Zealand flax, Phormium tenax, fill the middle ground. Ground-level specimens like colorful coleus, trailing sweet potato vines, and compact begonias complete the layered effect essential to tropical garden design. This emphasis on foliage ensures the garden maintains visual interest even when flowering plants are not in bloom. Conclusion. The journey through these 12 small space garden designs reveals that limited square footage need never limit gardening ambition or enjoyment. Each approach, from vertical wonderlands to children's discovery spaces, demonstrates that thoughtful design can transform even the most modest outdoor areas into extraordinary green sanctuaries. What unites these diverse styles is their focus on maximizing potential through creative space utilization, careful plant selection, and attention to the specific conditions and constraints of small gardens. By embracing these limitations as creative parameters rather than obstacles, small space gardeners often achieve levels of detail, intimacy, and cohesion that larger gardens struggle to attain. The evolution of small space gardening continues to accelerate, driven by increasing urbanization, growing environmental awareness, and technological innovations that make intensive gardening more accessible. New dwarf plant varieties, space-efficient growing systems, smart irrigation technologies, and lightweight, durable materials expand the possibilities for small garden creators each season. Perhaps most importantly, the philosophical shift towards seeing gardens not as status symbols requiring extensive grounds, but as personal expressions and living spaces that enhance well-being has elevated small space gardening from compromise to conscious choice.